Whether you're watching, listening or reading this, welcome back to the Runpreneur vlog, where we're on a mission to raise £1 million for children's charities by run vlogging on consecutive days the distance of one lap of the planet. It's a staggering 40,075 kilometres. It's going to take somewhere between 14 and 15 years to accomplish. I'm going to commit to doing a minimum of 5 kilometres every day, and I'll even do it barefoot style. So those regular listeners will know I vlog about helping people overcome the emotions of stress, overwhelm and anxiety using exercise, in my case run vlogging, as a release mechanism to relieve those daily, weekly pressures. And it is a beautiful morning today. It's really cold. It's about -3 feels like temperature, but the sun is out and it's really nice conditions today. A bit cold, and it's Monday Motivations Day, where I talk about all things motivation and productivity based. And today's topic comes from one of our community members, Diack, who wants to know how to effectively and strictly manage time. So as always, if you like this episode, give it a like and a subscribe, and let's get started. So, effectively and strictly managing time. I have done a few episodes on this topic over the last year, so some of this might be a little bit repetitive, but I think it's really useful and it's a really good reminder of the importance of getting this right. So, a lot of people struggle with productivity because they're just not great at managing their time. They get distracted too easily. They can't commit to getting things done, and as a result they end up procrastinating and not making the desired progress that they intended to. So there's a couple of ways you can do this. I think first and foremost, effective time management is only effective if there's a destination or a milestone that you're kind of heading towards. So first and foremost, what are your goals, what are your milestones that you're looking to achieve? Okay, I use milestones. I genuinely don't use the word goal or objective because I find that they're too much like final. I like milestones because I always set new ones and I never stop, and that's through choice. Some of you may have a final objective that they look to accomplish, and that's absolutely fine, but I work with milestones anyway. I digress. So once you've got your milestone, I'm going to use the word milestone just for the sake of this episode now. Once you've got your milestone set, it's then working out the process to getting to that milestone. Okay, and when you've understood that and you've got a plan in place, it's almost like you've got the destination planned, you've got the map planned, you've done the plan. Okay, now it's down to the execution, and that's where time management comes so essential. Because if that milestone or goal is the most important thing in your world, then anything associated with reaching that milestone or goal should be prioritised higher. So that then comes on to prioritisation, because the issue that a lot of people have is that if you're anything like me, you've probably got a couple of 100, 300 different actions on your to-do list at any given time, and for every one that you knock off, another few arrive, and that's just life. That's just the inbound responsibility that you have as an entrepreneur or business person. So you can't. That's just what's going to happen. So obviously you can reduce that by being more efficient at outsourcing and delegating, but for this topic today, it's about getting the prioritisation right. So generally speaking, I used to prioritise using Eisenhower's prioritisation metrics, which was important and urgent work is the most important. Then you've got important, non-urgent. Then you've got not important, urgent, and you've got not important, not urgent. That was the kind of order of prioritisation that you do, and the bottom stuff you just delete, because not important and not urgent is you just delete. The other two you generally delegate and outsource, and really you should only be focusing on stuff that's important and urgent. That was the goal behind it, but it was too, I found, loose and wasn't linked to the goals or milestones enough. So what I do now is I have anything from 3 to 7 projects that I'll simultaneously work on, and I will order my project by importance, so I prioritise it. So the one that's linked to the most important goal or milestone that you have set should be number one, and move through them. So I have projects on each business, and I normally have at least one project per business that I'm working on, and I always have goals attached to each of them, and I have my order of goals, my order of projects that reflect the order of goals, and that's my prioritisation metrics. So whenever a task is due, I work through it in that order. Okay, now there is a caveat. Sometimes there's stuff that is urgent for a project that's lower down the list, you have to bump up, but most of the time it's focused on the most important task for the most important project first, and then move down the list. So that's the prioritisation side of things. So now onto the time management. Now you've got the destination where you're going, you've got the map or the plan planned out with how you're managing your kind of workload. You've got the projects, you've got the goals, you've got the steps involved that needs to be done. So now it's about managing time and the execution. Okay, and this is a tough one because everybody will always assume they can get far more done than they actually can. I can't remember who I read about the 60-40 rule. People talk about 80-20, which is different. That's a different rule. The 60-40 is that everybody thinks that they'll get all this work done in a day. When you factor in the element of distraction, no matter how good you are at minimising it, you'll only really achieve 60% of what you set out to achieve on a given day. And if you get good at understanding this, it allows you to kind of be more realistic with your expectations. Now, realistic is one of the key aspects of time management. Okay, if you set, I'm going to get 20-hour-long tasks done today, then it's not going to happen. It might happen because there are 24 hours in a day, but you have to factor in sleep, eating, breaks, distractions. Highly unlikely. So it's setting expectations in terms of time. So I time block, okay, and I do this religiously every day. Now, I'm not perfect at it by any stretch, because time management is something that I think is an evolution. You have to continue working on it to get better and better at it. But what I do is I have hour blocks in my to-do or my project management app, which I use, Asana. I've set up a custom field which has hour-long blocks throughout the day. I've colour coordinated them based on my energy levels. Okay, so when my energy levels are high, it's green. When my energy levels are low, it's red. Okay, and the reason I do that is so that I can, I might move the order of tasks around based on how important they are and how focused I need to be. So I'll generally put stuff that requires a lot of focus and attention in my green sections, and stuff that is important but requires less attention in my red sections. So there's some element of productivity you can gain from managing your energy levels. But talking about time blocking, I'm using hour-long blocks, and the rules are simple. Okay, no more. A task that's the smallest amount of time ever gets attached to a task is 15 minutes. So you can, as by default, you can't have more than 4 tasks attached to an hour block. Okay, and you will get tasks that take 2-3 hours, and you have to block out more time to factor that in. But the rule of thumb is that no task will take less than 15 minutes. If it does, the general rule is if something takes less than 5 minutes to sort out, and it lands in your desk, it's not cost productive to add it to your task list. Just get it done, get rid of it. Okay, it takes less than 5 minutes, it's gone. Okay, that's the general rule. Anything longer than that you put into your task management software, the lowest amount of time you're going to allow for a task is 15 minutes. Okay, so that means no more than 4 for every hour block. So instantly there, you're looking at your task and going, right, that's going to take an hour to do. Okay, so just that fills the whole block. That's going to take 15 minutes. Okay, so I put 15 minutes in there. That's going to take half an hour. Okay, I'll put half an hour there. I'm not going to worry about the extra 15 minutes because it gives myself a bit of leeway. So that's another block done. And you just work through and block out. And then anything that doesn't fit into those hours that you're going to be working that day, you move on to the next day, or you move to later in the week. Okay, and if you've prioritised using the mechanisms I just explained, then you'll only be working on the most important stuff in general. So it should all work quite nicely. And you do this exercise each day, and I always do it at the end of each day. So I plan tomorrow's agenda at the end of each day. I had an assistant doing this for me for a period of time, but inevitably it's a very personal thing. I just found you know what, for 5 minutes it takes, it's worth me doing because I get my day set up as I want it set up. I also have it synced with my calendar as well, so any meetings or anything I've got in my calendar, I've blocked out, so I can't book tasks into the period of time that I've got a meeting, for example. So when you factor in meetings and calls and things, it gives you a realistic expectation of how much you can get accomplished. And it's often not as much as you'd like, but it's realistic. And the benefit of that is you start your day the following morning without procrastinating, because you're going past a big tractor, so bear with me. So you start your day the next day with an actually itemised agenda, which stops procrastination of planning what you're going to do that a lot of people do at the beginning of each day. And secondly, it's realistic in terms of what you can get accomplished. So it's not 100, 200 tasks long. It's just an agenda of what you're going to get done in that day. Anything else is ignored. There is a rule as well that anything else that comes in during that day doesn't get done that day, okay? Unless it is life-changingly urgent, okay? And somebody else can kind of acknowledge that needs to be done today, guys. You've got to jump on that. It just gets knocked back, and then it puts it as a task, and you schedule it for tomorrow or later, depending on the prioritisation or where it fits. So really, really important. Just these little simple rules and it is strict. You have to be strict with yourself, okay? And that was the other question: effective and strict time management. Okay, if you're not strict with these are rules. Okay, you follow them. It's the rules of engagement. If you don't follow them, then it's not going to work, is it? So you have to be disciplined to follow this process. But it takes 5 to 10 minutes a day to set up for the following day. And on a Friday, I spend an extra 5 minutes just by roughly mapping out what next week looks like. I just move things around. I don't look at the detail of next week. I just move tasks around roughly by day, saying, yeah, that's what I'll get done in that day. That's what I'm going to get done in that day. Just so I have a starting point, so that come Monday I'll have sorted. Come the end of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is loosely set up, so I just need to tweak it. It just makes the whole process a little bit quicker. So on a Friday, I loosely plan the following week, and at the end of each day, I will plan the next working day in terms of an agenda of what's going to be done. Seems like it might be overkill, but honestly, it takes 5 to 10 minutes max, and you know the amount of time people waste. And I know I used to waste an hour, sometimes 2 hours, messing about first thing the next day, when doing it the way I do it now means that I've just got a plan. I can get started straight away, and I get a lot more accomplished in the same time. So hope this helps. Hope that answers your question, David. As always, nice to hear from you, and we will get our run in. You've already committed to coming on this vlog and being part of this journey to raise £1 million, so we'll get that booked in the diary very, very soon. So that's it for me today. As always, if you like this episode, give it a like, comment and a subscribe. Any comments, drop them in. I'll respond to every one. If it's a bigger topic, I'll do a separate vlog episode and tag you in, like I have done so with David here. Check out the links on my bios where you can see and keep up to date with how the challenge is going. I'm 6.04% of the way there. Now, percents don't seem like a lot for many, but it takes 80 runs, between 80 and 40 runs, depending on the distance. If I'm doing 10k a day, it would take 40 runs. If I'm doing 5k a day, it would take 80 runs to get 1%. So it's a lot of, so 80, that's almost 3 months to go up 1%. If I'm doing 10Ks, it's going to take a month and a half. So it's a lot of effort to go up 1%. That's why I celebrate when I get a first figure on the percentage of the journey. So we're a long way to go, but we're still going strong, which is the name of the game. So finally, the content I always vlog about has always been geared around helping people overcome the emotions of stress, overwhelm and anxiety by using exercise, or in my case, run vlogging, as a release mechanism to relieve those kind of daily, weekly pressures in the form of stress. Clear your head, process what's going on, gain clarity on where you are and refocus and move on, okay? If you don't have that process in place, these stresses and pressures will build up like pressure does in a pipe. And if you're not careful, those pressures will evolve to overwhelm. And when you get overwhelmed, there's too many things going on in your head, you almost have a seizure, or you freeze and procrastinate. You've got too much to kind of focus on. And if you don't deal with it then, it then evolves even further to panic and anxiety, and in the end, dabbling in the world of mental health challenges, which clearly we want to avoid. Now, I've been there. I've lost businesses because of this. I've lost business partners, and I've almost been bankrupt because of my inability to manage these emotions. So I know what it's like, and it's no coincidence that in the last 10 months or so of doing this running blog, which is my release mechanism, I've made more progress than I have done in the previous 4 years. So if there's enough social proof that this stuff really works. So my pledge to you is that if you are somebody struggling with this, drop me a message, okay? And there's no catch here. The Runpreneur blog has never ever been about selling or monetizing what we do. It's about giving value and helping people, and most importantly, raising money for children's charities, or at least awareness of the amazing charities and the work that they do. So drop me a message, okay? There's no catch here. We'll arrange a call. I'll jump on a quick call with you. I'll give you some hints and tips that have made a life-changing difference to my life that I know are transferable to yours, and we'll get you back on that right path. Now, many people have taken me up on this, and I know we've made a significantly positive difference to so many people, and we'll continue doing that moving forwards. And help is often there, and you don't have to pay for it. In many instances, you just have to be prepared to ask. So reach out, take advantage of the olive branch, and get yourself back on the right path. So that's it for me today. Also have to say is stay positive, stay happy, and I'll see you tomorrow.